Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. This is Tio and the Arcane Bear. I hope you are having a wonderful time, and I'm sure most of you are, being that the markets have been green across the board. Our long-term mantra repetitious cycle of just keep accumulating has paid off nicely for any of those who are following. Luna at 106, Avalanche at $99 today, Ethereum at 3,400, and Bitcoin sitting nicely at 46,259. Let's dive in and take a look. So this is the Bitcoin chart we've been following. We do believe that we are in a larger reaccumulation range, however you want to look at that. I believe reaccumulation is the right way to say it, but nonetheless, this is a mid-range accumulation cycle. We've stood by this thesis since May, which is great. It's always nice to be confident and competent. They both pay off quite well, although conscientiousness is worth quite a bit more. I'll drop the ball on that one every now and then. We're going to be taking a closer look here. Actually, I normally don't like doing this, but I thought that there was some valuable micro information. Macro, we're all bullish, and that gets boring. Just basically says, hey, buy every single day for the rest of your life. That's humanly possible because governments are inflating currencies, destroying their underlying value, and assets are really the only way to store value. The closest thing to money is an asset. It's just the more, I guess, spendable that asset is, the easier it is to look at it like money. It's like hard to spend a piece of property because it can't shave off pieces of an acreage. Anyways, point of this is we've just turned on all of our indicators right now. This is super messy chart, but what we wanted to do was zoom in and look at this area here. Now, yesterday I said we could see as low as a $40,000 retest, but I'm not betting on big retests right now. We've been low for 3 months, waiting for it to go back lower. Now here doesn't make any sense. We've started accumulating more heavily probably the last week, since around the last week of March there. This final area that we're breaking out of is quite bullish. If we break below 40,000, then okay, we were wrong, and we're seeing that this would be an upthrust and distribution, although I do not believe that is the case. There are reasons why we do not believe that the case, aside from very large holders accumulating more. Let's take a closer look and then now go down to the 4-hour. Yes, here we go. So we touched the previous top that was put in, the previous support that was put in here at around 45,000. But if we zoom out and look at the full trading range, we get a bit better view of where there is a lot of support. So the majority of the support is actually down here at around 40,000. This is where you see this green bar here. It was drawn up as one of the lines of support all the way back since our initial PSY phase, which you will see back before, okay, there we go, like this, back around July. So our secondary phase here has put in a pretty nice area of support. So I do suspect we'll come back down to test that. But again, I'm not betting on that. I don't care if it comes back down or not. I believe we're going to go a lot higher. And even though there's reason to believe, again, that the volume profile range has a gap right here. You'll see it all the way down to around $40,000. Betting on that doesn't make much sense. There are people that like to play with leverage. I don't suggest you do that. If you play just a long-term accumulation game, you'll pretty much fare better than most people. So why not keep your strategy simple and your chances of success extraordinarily high here. I always hate when this happens on for some reason, I always get like a line here. You guys ever see this? You just can't get rid of it. Like it won't let you unclick. Go to draw over here and still wants you to draw. What about the measurement rule? Yep, still wants you to. Anyways, okay, so this area here, let's see if we can jump on another chart and get rid of that. Well, I have no idea what happened here. So again, wow, it's doing it on the other chart now. Okay, that's really annoying, ladies and gentlemen. I've actually never seen a solution to that other than closing trading view. So let's go over and hope it's gotten rid of it here. So let's go back. That's pretty ridiculous. Wouldn't let me unclick that line. I don't even know how that happens, but nonetheless, here we are back in candle version as well. So there are a few things. If we open up here to our Bollinger Bands have a lot of, let's put all of our indicators on right now. So if we go back down, obviously there was some resistance here at the 200 and 314 day moving average. And again, the bottom of our moving averages, our exponential moving averages, and the Bollinger Bands is all around 41,900. So I do suspect we're going to fill 41,900 before going up. These bigger players, they want to get as much Bitcoin at as low a price as possible. So they're going to push the asset down frequently on purpose to try to shake out weak hands. I mean, this is an age-old strategy of big players. They buy, they sell, they buy, they sell. Largely, though, they're looking to only accumulate, but they're very strategic about that. So I do suspect we'll see a push down to 41,000, but that's not changing my accumulation strategy right now in any way, shape, or form. So just a quick heads up. And again, remember the reason why we are so bullish. First off, follow me at Arcane Bear. If you're already watching us on YouTube here, which I'm sure you are, give us those thumbs up if you appreciate this content. Remember to like and subscribe. If you look down at our videos here, hey, look, who do we chat to? Oh, Emin, the founder of Avalanche, when Avalanche was only at $10. Oh, who else did we talk to? Do Kwon, Terra Luna founder, when Luna was around $15 as well. So there's two top 10Xs right on the page. 1 year ago, big fan of Charles Cardano. Aave a year ago as well. Star Atlas 2 days before they launched. So we're really good at being really early to finding some of the next big trends. I was definitely asleep on some of the NFT space when that came around, but nonetheless, we are awake now, ladies and gentlemen, to the value of identity, which is a whole nother conversation. But jumping back into Glassnode, one of the things we like to do constantly is remind ourselves why we are bullish, right? It's easy to get caught up in technical charts, thinking you know what you're talking about. But the real important thing to understand is supply characteristics. This is why we study the Wyckoff ranges. And thankfully for Bitcoin, we can see all of its supply characteristics on chain data. So here we go. We can see that we've seen this constant degradation of supply, which means the supply is being chewed up. Then the previous drop here from around 60,000, again, gray top chart is Bitcoin's price. Orange is Bitcoin's percent of supply on the open market. So as this supply decreases, the volatility increases as well. So this massive chunk of supply, which we had not really seen that much supply come into the market since the bull market started, has all been chewed up, and we continue to move further and further down on this accumulation. So now that we're seeing a near price inversion to supply, I suspect the bullwards momentum, sure, we'll go with that, is going to continue and very strongly forward. So one of the other indicators that we do like to look at, well, there's a few actually, but one of the ones I've started to enjoy more and more was this supply last active over 1 year ago. 1 year's, Jesus, Dio. Okay, so here you can see, I'm actually going to switch this up to a bar chart so it makes it a little bit more visually representative of what we want to get across here. So Glassnode has some great on-chain data. So now the orange is shown by the amount of supply that's been held for the long term. And as you can see, as we started to hit the bottom, supply that had been held for over a year dramatically increased. And as we started to move into new highs, that supply diminished. And then as we hit the bottom, it started to decrease massively. And we started to increase that supply all the way up till $60,000, where that huge chunk, that big dip of what normally looks like the end of a bear market is already over. And we've started to move back up in the accumulation of the asset. So if we look a little bit closer at just the last market cycle, here's 2017 through 2018. Here's the bull market run up from 3,000 to 20,000, and the first drop down to 3,500. As you can see, it's noticeably this massive decrease in supply. This is what I think a bear market looks like, is this massive amount of supply effectively coming back onto the market. So you can look at this black line as the amount of supply coming onto the market effectively. And then here it being accumulated, coming onto the market, being accumulated, coming onto the market. Yet if we look at just the last few months, noticeably very important here is that we've gone through most of the selling pressure and we've gone into long-term accumulation again since then. Now, there's another one that actually loosely represents this, and it's understanding the really big accounts that are out there on the Bitcoin chain wallet. And we have seen a massive increase Well, actually, not a massive. It looks like a big chunk. It's only around 300 people have increased their supplies of Bitcoin over 1,000 Bitcoins per wallet. So there's an increase of around 300 people holding 1,000 plus Bitcoin. So the number of large wallet holders also seem to increase as that bear market activity ends and we move into a new cycle. And I've stood by this thesis for a really long time that really what we're witnessing is a long-term accumulation. Oh, it's so good to show this. You guys, I'm sure, have seen it. I've drawn it up many times, but it's a comparison of S&P 500 and Bitcoin. And what this looks like to me is exactly that, an accumulation, or sorry, a reaccumulation pattern. And what's special about this is that, in my opinion, this is going to put Bitcoin into what will appear as almost a permanent bull run. After this starts, it will continue for longer than any bull run we have ever seen in Bitcoin. It will be what a lot of people call the super cycle. They were late not understanding that a reaccumulation would need to take place, but after this, as people start to understand, I think, the crisis value of Bitcoin, and as the world starts to likely enter more crisis situations, the price of Bitcoin is going to go into areas that are basically unimaginable from where we are today. I remember when I was buying Bitcoin at a few $100s saying it's going to go to 6 million, and I was just a long-haired lunatic on the beach that very few people were listening to yet. And as time has increased, we become significantly more confident about our far-out gambles, as most of them have actually become right. So the better you get at it, the more confidence you have, because the more times you've been right when everyone else has been telling you you're wrong. Once you gain that confidence, it's a lot easier to play that long-term horizon game. You shouldn't come to investing thinking you're going to make your monthly revenue to pay for your house. Investing is a strategy that can basically guarantee success and wealth generation, but it's a game about long-term horizons, patience, and really investing in the right kind of visions that show up. So anyways, we'll keep it short. We're super excited. Just really quickly, as you can see, we got Avalanche here on the left-hand side at $99. That's my faces in the middle there. Boom. We got Avalanche sitting at around $99. It's recovered very well today too. Again, we suspect that this is a reaccumulation pattern as well. Actually, let's go to our private group. For those of you that don't know, we do run a private group. Want to take a look in here. Well, where's Beard and Jerry showed an awesome chart. So here's one for Luna that I really liked. Again, he snagged one of the older reaccumulation after shakeout that we're looking at here, potentially for Luna. And then another one that he shared here I was really excited about was Beard and Jerry's breakdown on Avalanche before we broke up. So this was Avalanche back at around $90 before we went to that $100 area. I do suspect we are going to be up at around $140 within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We've seen so much bullish momentum, and this is not a dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounces do not happen 3 months later. A dead cat bounce is usually an instantaneous price reaction as supply kind of shifts and moves around. So great job on these shares, Beard and Jerry. I do agree with you. I think you've done a fantastic job of sharing that as well. So since I couldn't draw it up myself easily at that moment, Beard and Jerry in a private group. And remember, guys, the sickness of the early investor comes from too much over-emotional trading and lack of education and confidence. And the best way to cure that is by joining a group of individuals who have skin in the game and are focused on overcoming those same problems. If you want, go to arcanebear.com/private. Sign up for the private group today. If you're not happy, we give refunds to anyone that was not impressed. But our alpha is high. Again, remember when we're having conversations with people like Emin months before they do another 10 or 20x, there's a reason for that. We like doing our research and our homework, and one of the reasons we're not popular is because the homework is hard, I'm sure. Although there are a growing interest in this sector, and one of my favorite things that I've seen lately is to see some of these new venture capital players pop up, like Animoca Brands. We had the CEO and co-founder Robbie Young on our show the other day. Fantastic mindset. Really interested to see how the future evolves when people like this are at the ship. And a lot of our old Web 2 companies were driven by venture capitalists in the early 1990s, and I think that this sector just really drives a different kind of ethos. Now, I might say that because I'm a part of it, and I feel closer to the people. I get to have a conversation with a lot of these founders in the early days, so maybe I feel like I'm part of that circle, which makes it less likely to think poorly about it. But nonetheless, I think that the open-mindedness of the venture capital sector here and the willingness to collaborate amongst projects is extremely exciting. So why not sign up? Give it a shot. If not, we do share a lot of content, but you can go to arcanebear.com. Just check out our site. It's also where you can sign up. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I mostly just post photos of me and the dogs or something. So that's not as fun, not as much alpha over there. But you can follow me there too if you really want to. We write on Medium. We write, there's a bunch of stuff we do. It doesn't really matter about telling you. You guys will figure it out. You've all been super supportive. Managed to keep a really strong niche community alive. So thank you to all the Bear family members who have stuck by this channel over the last 3.5, now going on to 4 years. Really appreciate all of your guys' support. It's been tons of fun. We'll see you again in the next episode. Hope you're enjoying that ride. Don't get too worried or shaked out. If we see anything change, we'll come back online. But since May, we've been bullish. And just like I'm showing you on the screen here, I do suspect that we are seeing effectively reaccumulation charts across the board. So give us a thumbs up if you like this content, Bear family. Give us a thumbs up if you are doing well. Give us a thumbs up if you're doing poorly. Either way, just give us a thumbs up because YouTube loves the algorithm. The algorithm, that's what they should have named the Matrix. How different our future would have been if the Matrix was really just called the algorithm. Nope, I meant to be all cool there.